Now to bobsled and skeleton and the athletes who propel themselves down an icy track at speeds that can reach more than 90 miles per hour. And while they're some of the most skilled drivers in the world, Will Ewick shows us it's their sleds that help them win gold medals.
Bobsled is really IndyCar, Formula One, NASCAR on ice.
It's actually more violent than people would think. It takes a tough person to be in the back of a bobsled and a tough person to drive a bobsled too.
There are two key attributes to any bobsledder.
There's the start. There's the drive.
But just as important as the athlete is the equipment. Bobsled and skeleton take more than a skilled driver to win gold. There's a whole team involved in the design, fabrication, and maintenance of the sleds that provide a competitive advantage for Team USA.
It's not an easy thing to create a fast bobsled. Using software, we can create a very aerodynamic sled, but then in practice, many times we have to think that the sled's also going through a curve, or it might be sliding sideways or skidding. And so, aerodynamics is not just a very linear type of thought. There's a lot that goes into it. Especially with the suspension and the articulation of the sled as it goes through curves. All of that goes into play that makes it a very complex problem.
In a sport where the sleds can travel up to 90 miles per hour, Team USA must take every factor into consideration, from the aerodynamics of the sled to the cut of the runners that sit on the ice.
You can make a big mistake and have a great push, a great sled, and a great driver, but if you make a mistake selecting the right runners on the right day, that's going to cost you.
Avoiding a mistake can save you fractions of a second, which could mean the difference between standing on the podium and watching it from the side. Team USA has partnered with some of the biggest names in manufacturing to give their sleds an edge. One of those is Lincoln Electric, based in Euclid. They'll provide training and teach techniques on how to best use their machines and tools to build some of the fastest sleds in the world.
The Lincoln Electric has been an amazing supplier for our USA bobsled team.
We're always trying to make it, a truly American-made sled.
It's a sense of pride. It's America, USA, and we're a big part of that.
A big part of Team USA's quest for the gold.
To take home the gold, or even be on the podium, is huge for any country. But, if they brought home the gold, heck yeah.
Now, Lincoln Electric also supplies welding and soldering products to teams in NASCAR, IndyCar, and Monster Jam. U.S. Bobsled and Skeleton is not government funded, so they rely on these kinds of partnerships to help them build the next generation of bobsleds.
Johnny Weir was born in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and first learned to skate at 11 years old. Just 5 years after trying on a pair of skates, he won the gold medal at the 2001 World Junior Championships. In 2004, he won his first U.S. Figure Skating Championship, repeated in 2005 and again in 2006. Weir competed at the Olympic Games in Torino in 2006 and then in Vancouver in 2010, but he never stood on the podium. Weir was a fan favorite, named Skating Magazine Reader's Choice Award winner in 2008 and 2010. In 2011, Weir announced that he was gay in his autobiography, Welcome to My World. In 2014, he joined Tara Lipinski and Terry Gannon on NBC's broadcasting team during the coverage of the Olympics in Sochi. And viewers have since adored his fashionable style and his captivating personality ever since. Weir was elected to the U.S. Figure Skating Hall of Fame as part of the 2021 class.
When ice dancing takes center stage tomorrow night in primetime, Ohio has a rooting interest on Team USA. Madison Hubble, who grew up in Sylvania, Ohio, along with her skating partner, they are going for gold in Beijing.
Ice dancing partners Madison Hubble and Zach Donahue love winning. Together, they've claimed 3 national championships, 2 silvers and a bronze at the World Championships. And the only thing missing, you guessed it, an Olympic medal. Madison began skating at age 5, and by 10, she was winning competitions with her brother Kiefer as her ice dancing partner. The two had the support of their parents, who call Sylvania, Ohio home just outside Toledo. Along with the sacrifice of equipment and all of that ice time, their mom is a seamstress and has made many of the costumes that they compete in.
I reap the benefits of her being, an absolute fashion lover. And since I was a young girl, she would dress me and make my clothes, and that quickly became making skating costumes. And so throughout our career, my mom has made a very large portion of our costumes together.
When her brother gave up the sport in 2011, Madison was left looking for a new partner. Enter Zach Donahue.
I never even kind of put it out there that I was looking. He just stumbled into the rink when it was still you just stumbled into the rink when I
Stumbled into
you just came in to skate by yourself.
Their coaches saw the chemistry between the two, and Hubble and Donahue partnered together in 2011. The next year, they finished third at the U.S. Championships. They missed qualifying for the 2014 Olympics in Sochi by just 2 points. In 2018, they won their first U.S. national title, then again in 2019, then again in 2021, and they made their first Olympic appearance in 2018 in Pyeongchang, but didn't make it to the podium. Now, they're laser focused on Beijing, and being a little bit older, wiser, and certainly more experienced, but with a new storyline. This will be the final year they skate together as partners.
This last year of kind of knowing that it was going to be the end and knowing that we're going to walk away, especially in the training environment, we do try to, keep that in our mind that these are our last moments together. These are the last moments to feel that connection that's so special that we'll never be able to replace.
We want to be as aware as we can be of the reality of every event. We want to take everything in. We want to absorb every moment that's special.
With no outside spectators allowed in the stands this time around, Madison's family will be watching from Ohio.
We had our families in Pyeongchang with us in 2018, and we're so happy that they were able to come and experience the games with us, and it makes this time a little bit easier knowing that, unfortunately, they won't be able to participate, but they'll be at home watching and cheering us on as much as ever.
All right, let's set the stage. Madison and Zach, they will skate in primetime tomorrow night as part of the Rhythm Dance. And then again on Sunday in primetime again in the free dance right after the Super Bowl. And we wish them the best of luck.
Apollo Anton Ono was born in Seattle, Washington in 1982. He was raised by his single Japanese-born father. As a child, Ono rebelled against his immigrant father's strict traditional values. But he became a premier athlete at a young age, excelling at several sports, like swimming. At the age of 12, he won the Washington State Championship in the breaststroke. But he preferred the rink to the pool, capturing his first major speed skating title at the U.S. Championships at just 14 years old, after just 6 months of training. By 17, Ono became the youngest skater to win a World Cup event title, and he also became the first American to win the overall title in 2001, which he also won again in 2003 and 2005. At the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, Ono took home 2 more medals, including a gold in the men's 1,500-meter short track. With his signature long hair and his goatee and his headband, he became the face of speed skating and an American icon. He followed that up with 3 more medals in 2006 at Torino, including a silver and 2 bronze. He finished his Olympic career at the 2010 Games in Vancouver, taking home a silver and 2 more bronze medals. His 8 Winter Olympic medals are the most by any American athlete.
And when Madison Hubble and Zach Donahue take the ice in Beijing, they'll be dressed for success. That's thanks to a special and dedicated seamstress. Jim Donovan has that story.
4 years ago in Pyeongchang, ice dancers Madison Hubble and Zach Donahue sat in 3rd place after the short program. The next day, their Olympic dream of winning a medal ended in disappointment. They finished in 4th. That experience was heartbreaking for the skaters and for everyone else who helped them get to the Olympic Games, including coaches and their seamstress, who just happens to be Madison's mom.
She's like my little Barbie I get to dress because I can't do it for me. So we have fun with that.
Susan Hubble calls Sylvania, a suburb of Toledo, home, where she has sewn Madison's competition costumes since she was a little girl.
She would dress me and make my clothes, and that quickly became making skating costumes. And so throughout our career, my mom has made a very large portion of our costumes together. It's a really special bond that we have.
As Madison grew up, so too did the size of the competitions. Most recently, Susan stitched the costumes that the pair wore at the U.S. Championships, where they performed to music by Janet Jackson.
We knew she wanted it black and a lot of beads, a lot of metal, you know, but it needed to look Janet Jackson, but we wanted it to be a little updated.
Her next costume design will be seen in Beijing. This time around, Susan had the new challenge of a global pandemic, and she was forced to shop for materials online instead of in person.
The color is very difficult online. You know, to shop for fabric, particularly performance fabric, is hard online. So, you know, it's hard to feel how much stretch, how much body, how much weight is there, how is this going to work?
While Susan loves watching her daughter perform in the costumes she designed, she admits it's nerve-wracking.
I remember one time I wore my Fitbit, and after the free dance was over, I looked down and my heart rate's at like 132 or some outrageous. And I'm like, wow, I bet my heart rate higher than hers. You know, and she's the one that skated. It's terrifying.
Because of COVID, no international fans are allowed to watch the games in person. So, how will Susan be watching?
It'll certainly be hard being at home if she stands on that podium, but, you know, it's her journey.
Great stuff from Jimmy. And after more than a decade as partners, Madison Hubble and Zach Donahue have said that the 2022 Olympics will be their last competition as they plan to retire after the Games.
Debbie Thomas began skating at 5 years old and was winning figure skating competitions by the age of 9. In a sport that is historically white, Thomas challenged stereotypes, and she became a role model for black girls in a sport that did not include them. Always determined to be the very best she could be, she trained and competed at the highest level, while also being enrolled at Stanford University. Her education was just as important to her as her sport. The figure skating competition at the 1988 Winter Games in Calgary was highly anticipated. Dubbed the Battle of the Carmens because Thomas and Olympic favorite Katharina Witt both performed to music from the opera Carmen. Thomas stumbled in her performance, finishing at third, while Witt took home the gold. Debbie Thomas's bronze medal secured her spot in history as the first African American to medal in the Winter Olympics. After the Olympics, rather than pursuing a professional skating career, Thomas returned to school to become a doctor and later practiced as an orthopedic surgeon. Debbie Thomas was inducted into the U.S. Figure Skating Hall of Fame in 2000.